Wonder Stories of Travel by various authors. A Day at the Butts. It was the 4th day of August, more than 100 years ago, and the whole road between London and the little village of Harrow was thronged with people. It was hot and dusty enough that summer morning, but nobody seemed to mind in the eager scramble for the best seats. And it was not long before the little green knoll, just at the west of the London road, seemed fairly alive with spectators. It was a lovely spot, this well-known Butts of Harrow, with its crown of tall forest trees waving like so many banners, and its tiers of grassy seats terracing the slope. From time immemorial it had been the scene of annual contests in archery, and there was not a boy in Harrow School who did not look forward all the year to this 4th day of August. When John Lyon founded the school, it was made a condition of entrance that every pupil should be furnished with the proper implements of archery, and among the school ordinances drawn up in the year 1592, there was one to the effect that every child should, at all times, be allowed bow shafts, bowstrings, and a bracer. No wonder the men of those days were tall and straight and strong. But hark! The church clock down in the village is striking the appointed hour. A little figure, clad in red satin from head to foot, darts out from the thicket of trees below, and now a procession of 12 boys, some in white, some in red, and some in green satin, take their places in the open ring that has been left for the competitors. All the little archers have sashes and caps of bright-colored silk, and, looking down from the green knoll, the whole scene is a kaleidoscope of color. A silver arrow, the victor's prize, glitters temptingly in the sunlight, and a tall lad, who stands among the waiting 12, bends eagerly forward to examine it. "Just look at Percival," whispers one little archer to his neighbor. "He's bound to get that arrow, isn't he?" "Pooh! Who cares for the arrow?" responds the other, disdainfully. "It's nothing but a plaything, anyway. What I think about is winning the game, not the arrow." "Yes, but you see, it's different with Percival," said the first speaker. "His 3 older brothers, 3 years in succession, won the arrows while they were here at the Harrow School, and the father says that Percival must win the 4th for the one empty corner in the drawing-room, or he shall be ashamed to call him his son." Just here the boys were interrupted in their talk, for the target was ready, and, at a signal, the contest began. At first, one shot after another fell quite outside the 3rd circle that surrounded the bull's eye. Then came a shaft that glanced just to one side of the inner circle. But at last, after many fruitless attempts, the bull's eye was fairly pierced, and the feat was greeted with a gay concert from the French horns. Now, it so happened, at least this is one of the traditions of Harrow, that the name of this last boy was, "Love," and when his arrow touched the bull's eye, a number of his schoolfellows shouted high above the horns, "Omnia vincit amor." "Not so," said another boy who stood close by. "Nos nocidamus amori," and, carefully adjusting his shaft, he shot it into the bull's eye a whole inch nearer the center than his rival. But each boy among the 12 competitors must have his own trial shot 12 times repeated before the final award can be given. Meanwhile, a careful tally is kept, and not until the 144th arrow springs from its bow is the victor's name announced: Thomas Reginald Percival. That first victory seems to have given a magic impulse to his bow, for all 12 of his arrows have pierced the charmed inner circle of the target, and now, at the head of an excited procession of boys, he is borne triumphantly from the Butts to the village. One little fellow in white satin runs far ahead, waving the silver arrow with many flourishes, and when the school buildings of Harrow are reached, A grand reception is given to all the neighboring country folk. Young Percival, with bright eyes and flushed cheeks, is the hero of the evening. There are games and dancing and all sorts of merrymaking until the wee sma hours. But the victorious boy can think of nothing save the coveted arrow he has won. That empty corner no longer troubles his excited brain. He has ably vindicated his right to the old family name, and henceforward the father can point with pride to 4 trophies, won by his 4 sons at the famous butts of Harrow. That was in 1766. In 1771, the annual shootings at Harrow were abolished, for Dr. Heath, who was then headmaster of the school, thought they interfered with the boys' studies. The silver arrow prepared for the following year, 1772, was never used, but is still preserved at Harrow as a relic of the past. In the school library may be seen one of the archers' elaborate suits, which is nearly 100 years old, and the 4th of August, though no longer an exciting day at the butts, is still kept as a holiday at Harrow School, and commemorated with appropriate speeches. End of section 8.